It's been around a year and a half since I uploaded my first YouTube video, and as I've made more and more videos, I've constantly been learning the content creation process, shooting the footage and editing, so I've learned quite a lot that I want to share with you today. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you my GoPro setup and settings that I use to create these videos. Let's get right into it. All of my YouTube videos are shot on a combination of my GoPro Hero 8 Black and iPhone 11. The reason I bought this action camera instead of one of the many other options is that it was a reasonable price when I bought it at £240, and obviously GoPros are the most popular and well-known action cameras. I read and watched all the reviews at the time, and I figured that it wasn't worth paying significantly more for a newer model like the Hero 9 or 10. And using the right settings with your GoPro makes much more difference to the footage quality than whether you have the latest GoPro or a slightly older model. So that's my first bit of advice. Don't think you need the latest model to create good footage. The next thing I want to talk about is how you're going to mount your GoPro. There are three common ways to mount a GoPro for mountain biking. The first one is a chest mount. This is where you have a mount and it kind of straps around your chest, and the GoPro then attaches to this. The second one is a chin mount, where the GoPro is mounted to the chin of a full face helmet. And finally, the third one is the on the top of the helmet mount. I never use my GoPro mounted to the top of my helmet for a few reasons. The first one is that it places the GoPro quite high up, obviously on top of the helmet, and this means the viewer can't really make out details in the trail because you're very high up. The other reason is that for the viewer watching the video, it can seem like you're riding slower. And the other disadvantage is that you can catch the helmet on low branches and stuff and damage the GoPro, so for these reasons I've never used my GoPro on top of my helmet. I use a combination of the chest mount and a chin mount for my videos. My personal favourite is definitely the chin mount, where you mount the GoPro to the chin of the full face helmet. This is because it gives the most realistic and stable view of the trail, bike and scenery. This is because the GoPro is mounted very close to the natural position of a human's eyes. And also your head works as a natural gimbal that makes the footage look really stable and smooth. And with the chin mount, when you get the angle of the GoPro perfect, you can just get a little bit of the handlebars in shot and a lot of the trail. All of these factors combine to give you super smooth footage from a natural position with great field of view. This is how I shoot almost all of my YouTube videos. The only disadvantage is you always have to wear a full face helmet to use a chin mount, obviously to have the correct position to mount the GoPro, but it's a compromise I'm willing to take for the quality of footage that you get from it. I use the Fox Pro Frame helmet, which I have right here, and I'll show you how I mount the GoPro to it. This helmet is really protective being a full face. It's perfect for attaching a GoPro to. What I've done is attach a J-hook mount, as you can see here, zip tied on, 4 zip ties on each side. It's really stable and solid. You can see here from the view from the back that it's not going anywhere. The main thing you need to take into consideration if you're looking for a helmet that's good for a chin mount is to make sure that it has lots of open space, a solid area at the front to attach the mount to, be able to attach the GoPro to the helmet. I'll show you what to do right now. If you unscrew the screw of the J-hook, take that out, open up the GoPro here, pulling these little tabs open, it just slides into place like this. Make sure it's tight before you go riding though. If you're struggling with getting the mount tight enough, you can also use a screwdriver in the end there to get it tighter, just don't over tighten it. So there you go, that's how I mount my GoPro to my full face helmet. And now we'll talk about the chest mount. It's a good position and a good mounting option for your GoPro because it gives a really good view for the viewer. The only thing with the chest mount is that it does shake around quite a bit. That can make the footage look shaky because the GoPro is very good at stabilising the footage, but it can't stabilise those shakes very well. You can get those shakes over bumps and rough sections of trails, so I prefer not to use that, but I have used the chest mount in some of my videos. The main reason I've used it is that it means I can wear an open face helmet that's obviously more comfortable in summer, or just generally if you prefer to wear an open face, this is the mount for you. The chest mount can also look a bit low for the viewer because it's quite low down in your chest, so you can see quite a bit of the front of the bike and not that much of the trail. If you're enjoying the video, then hit that like button below, it helps the channel out, and get subscribed for more videos like this one. You don't want to miss out on any future content. Next I want to talk about getting the best possible audio for your video. I've got a few tips that I'll explain and show you how to do them. Now the first tip is to use some fake moustache cut into little pieces around the microphones on your GoPro. This really helps to cut down on wind noise and make the audio clear and crisp. The only thing with this hack is you have to be careful not to cover up the microphones. You only want to put a moustache around them in a kind of circle around the microphones rather than actually covering them, because then you'll block sound from passing into the microphones that we don't want. Another tip I have, and I always use, is to use a foam wind slow. It really helps to reduce wind noise. Again, this is a great little hack. They're cheap. I bought mine for about £10 off Amazon. It covers around the GoPro, covering the microphones, helping to reduce wind noise and get even clearer and crisper audio. If you use both these little tips, you'll get much clearer and crisper audio compared to stock GoPros, which can suffer badly from wind noise. A helpful tip to help you get the correct camera angle with your GoPro is to experiment with it at different angles and then watch the footage back, and eventually you'll find the perfect angle. What you want to do is to scratch on the mount and GoPro tabs at the top a little mark with a knife or something sharp, just so you can get the perfect angle every ride. This saves a lot of time and faffing each ride and means you can get the perfect angle for your videos. So next up, we'll dive into all of the GoPro settings. This is the most important part to get that amazing cinematic GoPro footage. The first thing we'll do is we'll turn the GoPro on. So to access the GoPro settings, we hit the tab here at the bottom of the screen and then hit the pencil, and now we're accessing all the settings. First off, we'll make sure to set the resolution to 4K. Just hit the resolution option, and here you can see you can change through. So this is 2.7K here and 1080p here. So make sure it's on 4K at the bottom here. 4K will give you the highest resolution, which means you have the most pixels, so the highest quality possible, which is what we want. You can adjust the frame rate, so make sure it's on 30 frames per second. 120 and 240 FPS is for slow-mo footage. So if you ever wanted to shoot some slow-mo, I'd say pop into the settings and change this to 120 FPS. But for all my mountain biking videos, which are shot at full speed, I shoot at 30 frames per second because it's the most realistic frame rate. We'll just go back here. We'll make sure the lens is on super view. So you can see here that it adjusts the field of view, so it's getting a lot narrower and narrower. There you go, the narrowest field of view is linear. I always shoot at super view because it gives the widest field of view on the trail, even compared to wide. It's my favourite, and I recommend you use that lens setting as well to capture as much of the trail as possible. Hyper smooth we need on. We obviously don't want it off because then we won't get good stabilisation. There is a hyper smooth boost option, but I actually think it crops in a bit too much, which means we lose that amazing wide field of view. Hyper smooth is always have it turned on. That's it for the basic settings. We'll move now down to the Pro Tune settings. These are the more advanced settings. The bitrate we'll put on high, so this is the highest quality of footage and will give us the largest file sizes, but it's a compromise I'm willing to take to get the best quality footage for my videos. Shutter I always leave on auto to let the camera adjust its shutter speed rather than manually setting it, because it depends on the lighting and movement to determine what the shutter speed is. EV comp I leave at -1. I find this is a good compromise, so what this does is it sets the brightness of the videos. I always leave it on that for my videos and they all look good. White balance I'll leave on auto, so this is to select the colour tone of your videos. Again, auto. Auto means the GoPro does a very good job at selecting the settings, and it works well in most situations. ISO minimum I leave as 100, with ISO max always set to 1600. Sharpness can be quite a difficult one to get right. The options are low, medium or high. So essentially low will make everything look dull and simple, whereas high will make everything look vibrant and colourful. You might think you want high, but low gives you lots more options to edit the footage during the post-production editing process. This means I have the most options, the highest dynamic range to be able to edit the colours in a video and colour grade it to get the best footage for the video. And then colour I leave on flat. It's a neutral colour profile, so this gives a basic colour. It still picks up all the colours, but again it gives you more options in post-production. You can have it on flat or GoPro colour. This is where the GoPro selects the colours to what it thinks is best for each situation. Again, it can do a good job in some situations, and other situations it doesn't do a great job. I leave it on flat as it's manual, so it gives me the opportunity to select the colours later on when I colour grade the video. More audio I leave off. This records a standard audio track along with the video, so we don't want any individual tracks. It can just get complicated and confusing when you're editing. Wind off, again this says that it can automatically filter out excessive wind noise and water noise, but personally I just leave that off. There are those two tips I said for getting better audio that I always use, so that is a great way to get better audio. And if you use wind reduction, it can actually mess up the audio completely. And that's it for the GoPro settings. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, where I'll be uploading more content like this, more riding videos and tutorials if that's what you prefer. Just let me know in the comments below what kind of videos you'd like me to make in the future. If you'd like to see me ride some super fun trails at Llandegla in North Wales, click somewhere on the right. I'll see you in the next one.